Morning, Mother.
Welcome everyone to CIVIC TV HQ. We've been making some changes around here, getting set up for today's interview. We've got the whole BenMonsterTV crew, and we're going to be chatting all things Ben Monster. Thanks, Santa Heels. I appreciate that. And yeah, welcome in everyone. Let's get going. This is, if you're not familiar, Ben Monster TV.
Tuesdays with BenMonster. Tuesdays with BenMonster. Tuesdays with BenMonster. Tuesdays with BenMonster. In the butt. Go pee. Go in the butt. BenMonster. Go in the butt. Go pee. Go in the butt. Tuesdays with BenMonster.
Bing bong. Hello, hi, and welcome to Tuesdays with Ben Monster. I'm Ben Monster. That's Robot Dom from Cybers. Oh no. That's Robot Dom from Cyber City.
What?
I'm not going anywhere.
Where you going?
Hey, Andrew. I'm not going anywhere, Andrew. I'm staying right
okay.
here.
Never know.
We got Gabe in the attic. Hello, Gabe.
Hello. How's it going?
Give me a little stomp if you're up there. He is, guys. He is. He's up there.
Can you do the Queen's We Will Rock You, please?
Oh, good one. I don't.
That's all I got.
Is that it?
That's pretty, I think that was Morse code.
All right, everyone. We should be receiving a transmission from Ben Monster TV. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, hello.
Welcome to the HQ.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you guys taking the time and, you know, showing up here with me today.
Of course.
I think we got enough
I love this
TVs
setup.
for everyone, but
Yeah,
I
this
like
is
these
cute.
little TVs.
Yeah.
and
Very exciting.
so we just got a sample of your stream, the Ben Monster TV channel. If anyone wants to follow Ben Monster TV,
What?
but I'm curious, and feel free to talk over each other on this answer. How do you describe your channel to someone if they've never seen it, and like maybe they're not even familiar with Twitch? How do you just describe it?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
yeah, it's
It's too hard.
it's very strange. I think it's. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess the
Yeah,
easiest way is it's a variety show, right? So that's the most people know
Yeah.
that. So it's a variety show, and we do a bunch of different shows. I don't know. It's too weird to
Yeah.
describe.
Many
We just
shows,
do
one
shit.
channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
when I get out there and like start asking people to come on, like if I have the opportunity to bug someone about it, I'm like, okay, it's a crazy show, right? But it's imagine imagine if it's a mix between Pee Wee's Playhouse, Space Ghost Coast to Coast,
Yeah.
Yes, I love
meets
Space Ghost.
meets various Adult Swim shows and horror movies. Imagine like smashing it all together. So like that kind of doesn't help. So then I send an episode of
Yeah.
what we've done before. Like this is what we do, and you can check the vibe if you dig it.
It's part of why I wanted to start with a clip. Yeah, it's a lot to unpack, and you know, There's a lot to talk about. I think maybe more than just an hour permits, but let's get into it. Like what we saw was Tuesdays with Ben Monster, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
so when does Tuesdays with Ben Monster air?
On Fridays.
Okay, okay.
Of course.
Why
Okay.
Tuesdays?
Okay. So when I first started this, I wanted to end every episode with "See you next Tuesday," and I always forgot to say that.
Oh, man, okay.
And then we just thought it would be funny if it wasn't on Tuesday. I think originally, Don, wasn't it on Thursday?
Yeah, it was on
We
Thursday. Because it was the best day that we had when we started.
right.
But Ben, you had your public access show was on a Tuesday night, technically.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
public
When I
access
first
show.
started, yes, yeah. When I first did this, it was just me, and I used a lot of clips from like public domain videos and things like that, and just mashed them up and things like that. And it was Ben Monster, and he was hosting it. It was a themed episode. I did sex education. I did dance parties. Did drugs. All
Yeah.
those themes, and it just mished and mashed all those clips and did like animations and things like that.
The classic
Um,
educational films, right? Like,
yes,
yeah,
for
drugs
sure.
are bad for kids.
Yeah,
It's true.
uh,
It's true.
and and then Don said, "Hey Ben, you should do this on the internet so people can watch it because people don't watch public access." And then we did it live. We were doing it live for a bit,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I don't think it ever. Besides the public access part, I don't think it was ever on a Tuesday.
No, I think
Yeah.
you may have done it by accident. One
Um,
time.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
was always curious if it was like a Tuesdays with Maury reference, and I'm glad it's not because that'd be really depressing.
Someone else said that when we were talking to a bunch of people from the SRG universe, which is a trading card wrestling game. There was a person
Awesome.
who started beef with us, fake beef, wrestling beef, and he said, "Oh yeah, is this a reference to that?" And I had no idea what that was, and then I looked it up. I was like, "No, this is not a reference at all."
No,
I hope
nope,
not.
not at all.
I hope not. But the contrast with what you guys do, that would be fun too. I mean, so
Yeah.
again, Ben, your avatar, not using the P
Yes.
word, but
Good.
your
Yes.
avatar, where's your inspiration come from for that?
Well, I am not the one who made Ben Monster. A friend of mine in college, we got together and we started making videos. And Ben Monster started totally different, not the Ben Monster you know today. He was green, he was boxy, he had glasses. We started a show called The Heather and Ben Show, and that was also on public access. And we yeah, it was just it was a puppet show with some animation, and yeah, and then version 2 of Ben Monster, we just redesigned him and the Heather puppet too. And yeah, the inspiration, I love all things Muppets, all things puppets. I was a big fan of Pee Wee Herman, still am. Gary Panter, any of that like punk rock art
Yes,
stuff I love. So yeah,
art
that's
explosion.
yes,
And so you all appear together on Tuesdays with Ben Monster, and
correct.
you also have other shows on the channel,
Yes, we
right?
do.
And Gabe, tell me about Control Alt Death. What's the deal with Control Alt Death? What is that?
So yeah, Control Death is our horror review show, talk show, review show. We've been doing that for what, been about a year and a half, maybe close,
Something
maybe
like that.
around
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it started. Ben and I were we were playing games. We used to play games all the time, and we were just talking, and the subject of podcasts came up, and I had mentioned that I'd always wanted to do one, but I never, never kind of worked out. And he was like, "So if you could do any podcast, what would it be?" And I said, "Probably a horror podcast, like a review show." And he was like, "Well, I'll do it with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that sounds fun." So that was just kind of it. And then we started just coming up with ideas and putting the show together, and coming up with names. And Control Death was not the first name that we came up with. There was a lot of other really bad names, but we settled on that. And it started as a audio only, normal podcast that we would record offline, not on the internet. And we watched the movies
podcasts
separately.
exist at this point? Are podcasts still a thing? Yeah, I know they are.
I think technically, but yeah, if you're not doing it on Twitch, you're doing it wrong. That's that's the rule. Yeah, so it started as that, and we did that for a while. And then we were just like, why don't we do it live? Why don't we do it on Twitch and make it a whole show? And it's the set is obviously based off of the Tuesday set, but it's the attic version. It's like all of the rundown pieces of furniture that show has moved on from. Like it gets sent up to the attic to me, and we've been doing that ever since.
You know what? I didn't catch that. That's a great piece of lore. The
Yeah, it's pretty good.
furniture just moves upstairs. That's great.
Hand-me-downs. I love it.
Here, check it out, everyone. This is what we're talking about. A little bit of Control Alt Death.
Gabe, I have to fix my horn. Can you give me a second?
Is your horn broken?
It's a little askew. Hold on.
Oh, okay. How's that horn been?
Ah!
And okay, so that was maybe a short clip to really communicate what it's all about. But one thing in particular, right? It plays on Tuesdays, right? So
Mhm.
you actually do have a
Yes.
Tuesday show. Okay.
Yeah,
We
we
do.
we like to have our schedule be as confusing as possible.
Right.
So when we say the Tuesday show, it can mean two different things. It can mean the actual Tuesday show or the Tuesday show that's on a Friday. That's how we like it. We like things to be
So
confusing.
confusing. So
I-
confusing.
I don't ever do anything that's confusing, so I get it. No, yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and like then you talk about movies that you watch on Discord, right? So
Yeah.
the Discord movies happen on Saturday, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
we each week we pick a movie, and we usually do lesser known horror movies, so we don't do anything super big. Most of which no one has really seen in our community. Some people have here and there, but for the most part, it's unknown. Yeah, and then we do like a little watch party in our Discord for anyone who wants to join, and then the next Tuesday we review it. And the show has other segments. We go through like what we've been watching that week and news, horror news, and then we actually go through the entire movie and kind of talk about everything. And then at the end of each episode, we rank each movie. So we rank each movie with the other movies we watched. So we're up to 121, I think, is our
Yes.
I was just gonna
normal
ask
list.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have 121 of the normal movies, and then those are all ranked against each other. And then we have two separate lists for the Friday the 13th series, and then now we're currently going through the Nightmare on Elm Street because we really love those, and we wanted to review those, but we didn't want to put those in the main list. So we have separate lists for these other franchises that we're going to go through.
When do you get to the Leprechaun series?
Oh, a long time. Long time from now, probably.
Yeah.
But I want to watch those because I've never seen those, so I would love to.
Jennifer Aniston debuted in the first movie that was introducing Jennifer Aniston, Leprechaun.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I love movies, so I love Control Alt Death too. There's another show
Oh, yeah.
that is like quickly becoming part of my routine for Twitch watching, and that's Dawn. Your trips into
Hell yeah.
Cyber
Hell
City,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's people take it very seriously. It's a
They
serious
do,
business
right?
when it comes to that. Absolutely, don't want to waste your channel points. I've seen some big wins and big losses. It's always a fun time.
And
Like
so,
Always
Vegas.
a fun time.
and people bet channel points on matches, right? Through
That's
Mugen.
right. Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
I had never heard of it. So what is Mugen?
It's been around for a hot minute, man. It's
Yeah.
like since the early, maybe mid 2000s. It's a company called Electabite. They created a universal fighting engine, so you can create your own fighting games. And basically, people started just taking sprites from other games and sticking it in there and watching like Ryu fight from Street Fighter, battle like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, like the classic. Like who'd win between those two fighting games? So you'd be able to like execute that in this engine. And I've always just been a big fan of like it. I think it's a weird thing. You see anime characters fighting, a VHS tape. It doesn't make any logical sense, and I just feel like it fits so nicely into like what we do. So it was
So,
this weird brainchild that I've been mulling over for a hot minute trying to make it.
I love it. And Santa said, I love Mugen games. Santa Heals, you gotta check it out. It's Sunday
Oh yeah,
nights, right? On
Sunday
Yeah.
nights.
Yeah.
We're about the third episode. I'm glad it's so many people dig it. Zoltan is in the chat. He also lost a ton of money.
That's right. Lost
That's,
320K lost now, says Zoltan.
that's
Wow.
right. He's
Yeah.
working his way up the whole
Holy
game.
cow.
Lost a couple too, right? If I remember. But
Yeah.
he broke. Yeah.
Yeah, the first episode that you had me on, I lost a lot, and then the second time last week, I was able to recoup most of it and actually come up ahead a little bit. So I'm happy, even
Anyone?
though channel points are useless to me because
Yes, right.
I'm run half the show. So
Um,
Yeah.
if anyone's still confused about this, check out this clip. We've got a clip.
Ooh. This is how do we commentate on this?
I don't know what to say.
I hope that made it less confusing for everyone. So I was watching that night. It was an entire snack themed night of fighters. Vending
Yeah.
machine.
It's like
Vending machine was owning it, right?
yeah, oh, he's OP, and everyone was pissed at me for choosing it. But hey, I like to say that I'm the Shang Tsung of that world. If you kind of
Yes.
follow fighting games, I'm hosting this insane fighting series in Cyber City. But yeah, it's been something I've been like mulling over for a couple of years, and I was like, screw it, let's just make it, see what happens.
I
Glad
love
people
it.
dig
It's a lot of fun,
Awesome.
and it really does get the chat going. It really gets people passionate about these channel points. It's fun.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they gotta save it up. They got to save them up. Stop using it on the other shows.
yeah, right. And okay, so like going back to Tuesdays with Ben Monster a little bit. A lot goes on that show. That's your Friday show, Tuesdays with Ben Monster, right? But
Yes, yes.
so
Our tentpole show.
yes, yeah, like the flagship, right? Yeah, the tent pole.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of aspects of it that I enjoy. One of my favorite parts is the chat roulette. So you guys, I'm not sure what the name of the service is that you guys use, but you have random chat connections come up,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so that
We,
kind of like, yeah.
We used to use multiple because we got banned from a few.
Okay.
Not because we showed anything inappropriate, but there were no humans on screen. So
Right.
the bot that watches it was like this is a fake account, or this is, so we would get banned, or people would ban us, I guess. But we mainly right now, Don Ray, we use Omegle as the
Yeah,
main
that seems to
one.
be the main one that we want. I've tried to use other ones, and there's all sorts of hoops you got to jump through to like trick the browser into using like actually showing our virtual camera so people can see the show. But it intended originally just because there's me and Ben and we had zero people to talk to or to watch other than the two of us. So it was like, here's a third party that's guaranteed
Right.
going to have a conversation because they're on Omegle to have a conversation. So yeah, it ended up just kind of working. And so it's called Stranger Danger because you never know what you'll see.
Right.
There is like this
Yes.
element of danger to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It definitely was higher. The danger element was higher before, because now they have bots that blur out appendages that but there were a few times where we saw one.
Man.
You did see something one time.
Yeah, and yeah, we used to have a ding dong counter. So
Yep.
and that was up in the corner, and because Don would screen the calls before he would see, and then he would see if there was a ding dong, and if there was, you know, a number would be added to the counter. But
Yeah.
so far, fingers crossed, there hasn't been many ding dongs.
Don,
Yeah,
how did
no.
that feel to be the designated ding dong screener?
It's the it's a curse, a gift, and a curse, I guess, so to speak. It's always exciting. It's always an exciting experience when you're there. We recently made it that it's blurred so both Ben and Gabe can see potentially what's coming up. So before it was just like a blank screen, so no one saw anything.
Right.
So then I'll just have to like corral them in and convince them to come on the show. Generally speaking, once like they're hooked, when you see like Ben's face, Ben Monster, the monster itself. They
There are
usually
some
get.
amazing reactions on there. I love it. And check out, I have a clip. We're going to be playing clips, so check out another one.
Nice. I'm tough. You just can't take my stuff. I'm tough.
Look at him.
How tough?
Look at him.
You can't see my lower half, but I am fucking jacked
You should
down
see
there.
his games.
I will
Hands up.
kick.
Everybody put the hands up here.
Oh my god.
See that? See the gun thing. What is that about?
I don't know.
Oh,
don't.
it's
That's what I'm talking about, that element of danger, right? You never know. And
That wasn't the first time we had a gun pulled on us, too. We've
not
had
at all.
we've had real guns. We've had BB guns. We've had, like the pellet guns, paintball guns. A lot of people like to show off guns
I can
Yeah.
Drugs
on Omegle.
on the camera.
And
There you go.
lots of
Drugs.
drugs.
all kinds of variety of drugs.
What else do you even
Yes.
do on the internet except drugs and guns? Like, right?
And showing your
And
body
wee-wees.
parts.
Yeah.
And wee-wees. That's all you can do.
Uh,
That's why
You
I
do
started
another-
doing this,
yeah, that's why Gabe jumped on. It's just like
Right.
that's great. Now I was gonna say we have another show that we do. We haven't done in a while just because I guess we're kind of lazy, but it's something that is like the uncensored version of Tuesdays with Ben Monster. So you get to see all the things we could see. But it's not as exciting right now because all the algorithms on these sites block out all the crazy stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're looking at you, Twitch. No, yeah.
Mhm.
Luckily, Twitch is a little lazy about it. I'll say that. But okay, yeah, and so there are actually other shows besides even what we've mentioned, right? I mean, so like
Yes.
there's like Tuesday morning ish. What is it? Gabe? Like
It's it's Tuesday-ish mornings.
That's
Again, confusing title. We need to add Tuesday to as many titles as possible.
the brand.
That's kind of my morning solo show that I just do kind of whenever. It has a set schedule of Mondays and Wednesdays, but I don't usually stick to that. It's just kind of whenever. And that I do. I'll go through like entertainment news, anything that's not horror stuff that I usually say for CAD. And then I'll do some type of whether it's like art or one segment that I really love doing is I learn a new hobby. So I don't consider myself an artist in any way. So if I want to learn like how to paint or how to watercolor. I'll pull up a tutorial and literally do it for the first time live. And I give people like, hey, next week I'm going to be doing this. So if you want to follow along, you can get some supplies or whatever, and we can all do it together. And sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. So like watercolor was fun, but I didn't really stick with it. But the digital art, when I started doing that, I'm like, okay, this I kind of like, and I stuck with it. And it's been really fun. So I do that, and we do different types of like little mini game shows. And yeah, lately I've been doing the AI art collages, which has been cool. And then at the end of the show, if I haven't gone super long, I'll do some type of game, whether it's Fortnite or any other random game that I've been playing. And it's just kind of a mini variety show in and of itself in the mornings.
Which AI service do you like to use? I haven't really investigated them, but I'm following all sorts of accounts that are posting. But yeah.
Yeah, the one that I've found to be pretty good for this it's called Crayon, Craiyon, and I only like that because it's like free, and I can just have like 3 tabs open, and I'm like, because I do collages, right? So I'll search for individual pieces of what I want, and then I'll put it all together to build one image. So some of the other ones you need credits or you need an account or it's paid. So those I tend to avoid for the most part, unless I need like one, big piece. But there's a lot. I mean, and there's more coming every day. So it's crazy. That AI stuff is really insane.
I'm waiting for like AI generated movies. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. For
Like,
sure. For sure. Music, everything.
I mean, I guess like, we're pretty close to that with Netflix shows. It's pretty much like algorithm generated like content.
Right.
But,
Right.
and there's also a Ben Monster podcast where you do show up as human form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been curious, is that a podcast? Is it just on Twitch? Like,
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
question. Everyone in our community, I don't think they think it's a podcast. I don't know what a podcast is. So maybe it's not. But what it is it's usually the first Saturday of each month. We just do a little behind the scenes stuff. We talk about what we've been working on for the shows. We also drink soda, which is important.
Mhm. Yep.
We review soda. We're starting a new thing. Don, should I reveal it?
Sure, why not?
Reveal it.
We're reviewing the sodas that we drink on the show. It's coming
Okay,
up.
so
So
rank-
Ranking
next
them.
podcast, yeah, we're ranking them. We're going to be we'll have a ranking system. But yeah, and it's basically like what's going on with the shows in general for the most
never
part.
been done.
Never been
yeah.
done.
Very cool.
With the podcast, like I don't like rules. Our shows can be whatever you want. Who cares?
Exactly.
Yes.
I honestly
Exactly.
think if you take Tuesday with Ben Monster, take the audio and put it on like just an audio only thing, I think it actually will be entertaining to listen.
I
That's
think
just
so
me.
too.
I'm biased.
Yeah.
And you guys
Sure.
probably already know, but podcast is still like a reference back to iPods. Like, come on, like
Yeah,
True.
what is that?
Ben was
Like,
making podcasts when podcasts just came out.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have a clip that I'd like to share that is maybe the most important clip I'll play this entire interview. Just bear with me. Here we go.
How do you know potato?
What's the deal with that? Potato. Huh. What is that all about? I hear a groan.
Believe it or not, this is fairly recent. This is a recent thing. It doesn't seem recent at all.
It seems like it's been going on for our whole lives.
So, that pops up on the show. There's a command, right? Video drop,
there's a-
right?
Mhm.
Yes, a potato video drop. Yeah. Recently I had a friend over, and my wife was saying to them, I don't know how it came up, but she goes, "Hey Ben, do you remember that potato song?" And I was like, "Oh my god, the potato song!" And this was a video I found a long time ago. I think it was when I was working at Frederator. Someone was passing it around, and I thought it was hilarious. And I saved it in my old YouTube account as a favorite, and I I played it for our friend that was over, and we started cracking up. And then I went into our Discord. I told Don and Gabe, I was like, "This needs to be a thing," and I sent it over, and then it became a thing. And that's how it started.
And is that kind of how it
And
goes? You each like contribute to the drops, like
Mhm.
yeah,
yes,
that's
yeah,
fun stuff.
that's how the whole show, all the shows work. Is either of us have an idea, we jot it down and write it in the Discord, and then it somehow becomes part of the show. It could
Yeah.
start with just a text. It could start with a doodle. It could start with like a whole segment idea, and yeah, it just becomes
Becomes
It's
part
a
of the
meme.
thing.
Mia
Yeah.
says, "Gabe, you did it to yourself." And so
Yeah, so so with that, with the drop, so most of the drops I handle on my side. So when there's a new drop that is requested, they send it to me. So Ben had sent me like 3 or 4, and I'm like adding them, and then I watched the potato one, and I was like,
Are you
"Are you
sure?
sure? You sure you want like? Do you really want this like a one-time thing or forever? Because it's long. It's a long thing. It's a song." I'm like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." And then it just kept fun. And then of course the one thing that I hate, the audience, the chat loves, and it's now it's just used against me. It's a weapon against me, basically. That's how the chat uses it. So yeah. So that's the potato. That's the potato drop.
potato-based trolling, right?
Yep.
There
Well,
it is.
Exactly.
there is another important part of your show I'd like to talk to you about after this coming clip, and we
Okay.
can leave that potato business behind.
Thank you.
Forget
I
it.
appreciate that.
All right.
Someone's getting a prize. Someone's getting a prize. It's a potato.
Enough. Enough. We got people calling in. We got the drop itself. Hold on. We got a voicemail. Let's listen to this real quick.
We got a voicemail?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Potato. Potato.
It's everywhere.
I hate you all.
Wow.
I have a feeling that you brought this on yourself, though.
I had to do it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So okay, but that did show off, right? You had a guest on, and that's like a regular feature of Tuesdays with Ben Monster, right? It's having like special guest appearances, and
Yes. Yeah.
it's like Sharp Balloons, right?
Mhm. Sharp balloons.
Very
Don
cool
came
channel.
through, and Don gets a lot of our guests.
Oh, cool.
Sharp Balloons was amazing guest. They are a balloon artist, along with their husband, Mr. Sharp, and yeah, it was awesome.
And
Yeah,
It was
like
fun.
sorry, Don. Yeah.
no, I was gonna say it's just people are nice enough to come on the show. That's how I like to approach it. Because again, it's hard to explain what we do. But yeah, like Sharp Balloons was a fun experience to get them on. So they're cool people.
And those get really elaborate, the guest appearances. I mean, like, guys set up new scenes. You like have like themes worked out, like stuff that happens, and like
Yeah, if we have a guest, man, we wanna make it ridiculous and put them as a part of like a story plot point or something. We do it. I think that's now our like regular thing. That then like that's if we have a guest, there's generally a plot. That's
And I guess
right.
like
Seems to be.
I guess it must be case by case, but you come up with these things with the guest as well, like get their input and like come up with something together.
Sometimes it's a collaborative effort. We'll usually come up with like a base storyline or like a bit idea, and we'll present it to them. They'll okay it. If they have any input, they'll add to it on their end. And yeah, it's
We try to
I
keep
find
it.
it's yeah it's better than just a quick little interview. If we could, we'll sneak that in, of course, into the bit.
What's wrong with an interview? No.
No. But like we'll have the interview, but we'll also do we'll work that into the weird storyline.
That's
So,
cool. And like, so Ben, you do the illustrations for those, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you pump out a lot of illustrations, I gotta say.
I do. Thank you. I love to draw stuff. I've been drawing stuff for a while.
I love
and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love the world that we created, and I really dig the when we started. I think our first set was all drawn. I don't think there was any real elements to it, but we started adding photographs and just that real world, like real things mixed with the hand drawn stuff. And I fell in love with that style. I think it's awesome. I think it's very collagey and cool. Yeah. I think that's, and we also love the jank of it all, the weird
broken
not
parts.
so right, not so put together,
But
not lazy, not lazy, but more of like this looks great, let's keep it. And not go with a second pass.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Just keep moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there is an archive on YouTube of your episodes, and I checked that out. It goes back to 2018. Is that right? Is that when?
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah.
I in fact have a clip, I believe, from the first episode. Let's check it out.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Hey everyone! Welcome to the first ever live show of Tuesdays with Ben Monster. I'm Ben Monster. That's my co-host over there.
That's me.
It's Robot Donnelly.
I am a co-host.
Are you a robot though? I don't know what you are.
If you look at my mouth, it's like
you're some sort of organic being.
Yeah, I'm a cyborg.
You got a cyborg body.
I got a cyborg body with no arm. Well, I can't move my arms.
No,
they took it. They took it from me.
They took those arms from you.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the first episode. It's gonna be a little train wrecky because we're still figuring out, the logistics of how to work a live show. Right. We got.
Wow, you guys looked a lot younger then. So
we do.
There's some differences there, right?
Yeah.
So Ben, the lighting looked a little different on you, and
yeah.
And then
believe it or yeah. Oh yeah, you keep going. Sorry.
Dawn, you looked a little different in that clip.
No, not at all. That's the same person.
Yeah. So that was like the original Dawn, I guess. Robot Dawn.
Yeah. So the show is generally just made as we go along. We're building the train as we're driving it, so to speak. But I wanted to try face rig. I saw some people on another screen using it. Not a Twitch stream, just like some YouTube thing, just like people using it. I was like, oh, that's cool. There's characters, and it's like a really cheap program called Face Rig. Downloaded it, and that was the first one that kind of called to me. And Ben just named it Robot Dawn, and I was like, all right, that's the name, and we kind of rolled with it. But once we started to do it, and it's a prepackaged character from Facebook, by the way, so you can't really use it for like promotional material or anything like that. So like it's
Right,
not
right.
really ours; it's theirs. So Ben was like, we need to figure this out at some point and get a new version at some point. Um, and basically, after like I think 2 years of using that Facebook one, we started getting more eyeballs. We were able to like work with one of our designer friends, another Gabe, and he designed out a new version of myself. And basically, now I'm that character,
Very
that
cool.
new blue and white version versus the black and white version. But it has this similar. I don't know. It's got there's something. There's something about the two of them that are very similar.
Was there like a plot point that explained that change, like on an episode, like, or did you just show up?
I did. We just started a new like chunk when Gabe came on, and I was like, "Oh, it's the perfect time to do it." So we did it, but we didn't make it. Did we make a story that got lost, or
We
I
had
didn't
a
show up?
we had a video. We had a video of
We did have a video.
you
About that. Yeah,
going into Cyber City and transforming,
Ooh.
building a new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was curious if it was like the Klingons on Star Trek, where like you watch the original episodes and it's just like a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like,
A dude with a tan.
yeah, guy with a tan, and then it becomes a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so that's cool. And Gabe, you weren't in the original episode, but I found
Mhm.
I don't know if I found the first episode with Gabe in it, but I found at least a very early episode. When did you start?
I started. So yeah, I found the show through kind of a mutual acquaintance of ours, and after watching it for, I watched the first Tuesday show and fell in love with these two dudes and the show and the community and everything. And I started watching it, every week. And we didn't have a Discord then, but it was, I think, a Facebook group and the other social media stuff. And
Remember Facebook?
yeah, way back in the day, way back in the day. And yeah, I just started hanging out, and I started doing some little videos for them, and I was known as Editor Gabe for a while. And yeah, then I kind of started working behind the scenes, doing some drop stuff, and just kind of progressed to ending up being a part of the channel and running, having a couple of my own shows. And yeah, it's been crazy. So I think I've been a part of it for 2 years, maybe around
Yeah.
early,
I think
like
so.
early 2020, probably, I think is when it kind of started, late 2019. So
Yeah, before the pandemic, you came on.
yeah,
Before the pandemic.
yeah.
Editor Gabe? Are you an editor?
Mm-hmm.
Do you edit?
I do. I my main creative outlet before all this was filmmaking. I had I have a little filmmaking. A friend and I would go out and we would shoot and produce and make little shorts, like little sometimes horror, sometimes just weird comedy stuff. And I also did a lot of writing and stuff, and that was kind of my main outlet until I met these guys and started putting all my creative passion into this. And this has been, I love the filmmaking stuff and like photography and editing, all that stuff, but this is so much more rewarding just because it's fast. We can like these ideas that we send to each other. So often it'll be like, okay, let's do this next week, and we all go our separate way. Like we come up with the idea, and Ben goes and does this. Don sets it all up in OBS and he puts it together, and then we all just come together with our pieces and we do the show, and then it's over and we move on to the next one. And that's so rewarding to be able to just come up with idea and not sit on it for months and months and months. And
I completely get it. Yeah, absolutely. And like, I was very curious because, like, so in college I started as an assistant editor, and so that's been going on for a really long time. And I completely know what you mean. It's the instant content creation, right?
Yeah.
It feels so much more rewarding, but also less lonely than editing, right? It's like
Right.
editing
Exactly.
is like you're alone in a room for many hours, and then you
Yeah.
might be in a room with someone when they watch it, but maybe not.
Yeah.
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 And
And
just the first thing I
uh,
streamed was editing. That was like,
oh, really?
I streamed myself
Right.
editing on Premiere. Yeah.
That's awesome. That must
Um,
be nerve wracking. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could have people watch me edit. It'd be so like, oh, is it okay? What? Like, don't look at how I do things. I do things in a weird way.
True,
You know?
right? Yeah. But so I was curious about like the OBS control too. You mentioned Dawn putting together like the OBS scenes. Like I've always like I know you guys are like in different locations when you're streaming, so I've been wondering like, yeah, who's got the hands on the OBS during it?
We all
Feels the
technically
steel.
have the hands on.
Oh, cool.
We all have our hands on. So like from the beginning, it was just me kind of putting things together and coming up with the weird stuff, like the weird kind of ideas. But when Gabe came on with I needed to unload a lot of the burden on my PC at the time, and Gabe was like had a really good PC, so we were like, can we split this up where he can do a part of it, I could be a part of it, and it kind of just been snowballing from there. So like it's distributed in a crazy way where Gabe has overlaid on top of the show that I'm running. So like all of the like show assets live in my OBS, but all of like the drops and the overlaid stuff, alerts, and he has access to, and it basically plays on top, and you just really can't tell. So
That's fantastic. That's cool.
It's been cool, right? Leading up to the pandemic, we already sorted out how to do this entire show remotely, like a full
Right.
year before. Thank goodness, we lucked out on that. I moved from where me and Ben used to do it in my basement in New York, and I moved out of New York, so it kind of forced me to figure it out if I wanted to continue the show. And then once Gabe came on, and we were able to like kind of split this stuff up pretty well, and yeah, that's kind of what's happening.
And it's crazy how we used to do things. How Don, you and I used to like how I would control like how I would control drops
Yeah.
and videos is so awful. And now
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even that is constantly evolving, and like the way we have it now is awesome. And it's like I don't know if other people like kind of do it the way we do it, if they even have a need to. So
Right.
I used to have to type in the name of the drop like commands manually and like send it as a whisper to the Twitch so that it would trigger on Don's side.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
every show I'd have a big document open of the names of the drops of the videos and the code, and I'd have to type it, and it was horrible.
That's
it was
ruthless.
absolutely
Yeah.
horrible. But it worked. Like it worked for a long time. It did exactly what we needed it to. And then you know, everything I know about OBS and all of streaming, I learned from Don. So taking all of that and yeah, he is the wheels of steel, you know. And once I started doing CAD and I started kind of learning this whole world. I had a Stream Deck, and I really wanted to like figure out how to use that, so I could just press a button and the video would play, you know. And we got together and figured it out, and that setup is what we've been using ever since.
So
Wow.
cool. There's like
it's distributed in a great way. Like not many, like to Gabe's point, man. Like I don't think much people are doing it, and I don't know from outside looking in. I feel like we don't skip a beat too much, considering we're like across the country,
Yeah.
different time zones.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Absolutely. There's a really impressive level of coordination between the three of you. Like we've been saying, creatively and technically, and I think that's pretty rare. I mean, like people work together, but like you guys really put it together. I really appreciate that about the stream. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough
Yeah.
to like gel pretty well here, and we've been lucky enough to have people like Zoltan and Robert Schmobert and like guys who from the outside who started watching shows are like giving us other ideas and other pieces of tech. Like we're using OBS Ninja. That's all because of Zoltan like figuring it out for us. It was great, and we've been improving the stream every single year,
constantly.
making it better looking, faster. You know, it's jank as fuck. It's jank, but there's a lot of really good stuff behind the scenes that we're utilizing right now.
check out OBS Ninja if you don't know anyone out there who streams. Very cool. I found out about that through another streamer as well. Like, it's great that people share that information, you know, on Twitch or Discord or wherever. And like, it's, I find people are really open about their process, and like, which like, I appreciate you guys sharing your process too. It's very cool.
Absolutely.
And so there's like a lot of lore behind your show. We've covered some of it. There's more out there. But I wanted to talk about one thing before any of this wraps up, and there's a clip to go with it. So let's just intro this with a clip.
Oh boy. You notice we have a bong on the set. So Ultimate Warrior bong.
Ultimate Warrior succumb.
No, it's a bong.
So, I mean, there's a couple things we could talk about in that clip, but what I'm looking at is the background of that clip. There's a gorilla smoking, right? And so I've heard on the Ben Monster podcast and from Don directly, there's a special affinity you guys have for the movie Congo. Is that right?
Yes. Well, the movie is great. There's a scene that is pure excellence, and that is towards the end. The gorillas are frightened because the city the place that they're at is crumbling, and lava starts flowing, and all the gorillas
just
for some reason jump into the lava.
They just start jumping. It's like a ballet.
Like cannonball.
Right?
Yes. We had a segment. Yeah, we had a segment on the show a while back called "Stop Eating My Sesame Cake," which was another reference to Congo, where the audience.
My sesame cake.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
The audience would suggest a song, and we would take the scene where all the gorillas are jumping into the lava. We would take out the audio and put that song into that scene, and for some reason lots of songs just really fit that scene. And so that was but now with Twitch, cracking down on music and stuff. However, we do have some new tech that might help us with that.
Ooh.
So that segment might need to come back
coming up in the future. Awesome.
Maybe.
And so Crack Mother's like giving Congo hype in the chat. So like, okay, back in Tumblr days, if you remember Tumblr, okay, I had a friend on there who was hosting a challenge: watch Congo every day for 30 days in a row.
Oh my god!
Okay? Crack Mother and I together, we watched Congo probably like 23 times in 30 days.
Wow.
That's amazing.
We didn't make it the whole time, but we watched it a lot. There's a lot of Congo.
Do you discover anything from watching it, like anything specific?
Yes, actually. I'm really glad you asked about that. And so there's a few things.
Cool.
I mean, but let's just jump straight into the dark one, okay? Did you realize that there's an actual on-screen death in that movie?
What?
Holy shit, really?
One of the crew members died on the production of that movie, and they used the footage in the final edit of the film.
What?
No way.
Even though the family protested and asked them to take the footage out of the film, they still went forward and show it in the final edit.
Wow. That's messed up.
Wow, that is Congo. That's what they call in the business, getting Michael Crichton.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, Michael Crichton novel, originally, Congo. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so, if you remember towards the end, everything's crumbling, inexplicably lava pops out of the ground, but there's like the temple like is crumbling. Look for a guy in the background getting crushed by stones.
Jesus.
God.
And he
No
really
way.
was crushed that day. Wow.
That's insane.
Jeez.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I don't know. Morbid fascination. I like to find out that info on movies where a stuntman died
That's
or whatever
crazy.
it is. It's
yeah.
fun. It's fun, right? Hollywood
Yeah.
lore.
Right, it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, there's a special magic to a movie that just features a talking gorilla. You know?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just the concept of diamonds being part of telecommunication and that
Mhm.
does it, and lasers are gonna. It's there's so many layers of someone. I feel like someone wrote it the way that we write stuff. We just write ourselves into holes,
Right.
like Warren corners, and try to work our way out with like
Yes.
various weird things. And that's
And what if we added lasers?
Yes.
yep,
That's
exactly.
us.
Laser communication satellites with diamonds.
Exactly.
Weird.
Right.
If you're big enough diamond, you crack it, you can cut a gorilla in half.
Plus, just by the way, Bruce Campbell, come on,
Mhm.
Yes. Hell yeah.
incredible.
Legend.
I read his autobiography, and he talks about how like that was one of the first like A-list movies he was in, and he dies in the first like 5 minutes of the film. Gotta love
True.
it.
Love
Okay, it's getting close to that time when we're going to change the channel and
Oh no.
and check out some movies. But
Awesome.
before we do that, I have a tradition here on Civic TV for these interviews. I like to give a little something back for your time and, you know, attention coming on the show. So I know you guys are on a slight delay on your end viewing the stream, but check out what I got you. Presents.
What? Presents?
Yeah. There's
Oh
Whoa.
shit.
Oh my god.
That's
That's
awesome.
Amazing.
my gift to you. I'm going to
Presents.
send you guys these and, you know, complete free reign, like whatever you want to do with them. Yeah.
I
That
love
is
it.
super cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
sick.
It's
Thank you
amazing.
guys. Like, I really appreciate you coming on. I've been a fan for a while now. I found out about you from a raid train, and that was like dropped in to Tuesdays with Ben Monster. I'm like, what the hell is this? I gotta
Hell
watch
yeah.
That's
more.
the best thing. That's the best way. Just let it happen to you. Let it flow over you.
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
That's the best way.
And so I hope you guys continue to flow over me. No, wait. And I know there's a lot more coming up in the future, so I'm looking forward to what happens with it. Very cool
Thank
stuff.
you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. And we are going to get ready to raid out of here, and I am going to send us all over to a different screen while that happens. But yeah, thanks, guys. I
Ooh.
appreciate you. And
Thank
you
have
so
a good
much.
Friday. Hey, by the
Bye.
way, Friday night,
Yes.
Tuesdays with Ben
Yes.
Monster. So check them
Mhm.
out.
Absolutely.
Use it.
All right.
We got to do it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
you.